Hello and welcome to my 69th water review for YouTube. I'm sure I'll get a few comments about that down below. Today is Friday, May 26, 2019, and this week I will be taking somewhat of a look back on a previous company I've reviewed. The company I reviewed about 4 months ago, and I reviewed their still offering, and that company was Icelandic Glacial out of Iceland. And this week I will be reviewing their naturally flavored carbonated water. Now, Icelandic Glacial's website is basically the same as what it was when I reviewed their still water offering, but that's not a bad thing because I really liked their website overall. It had these beautiful graphics. It was really nicely designed, and it just had all these lovely videos and pictures throughout with a ton of information about the company and their water and whatnot. So they had a product page where they go over just a little bit about each of their products. So they have the still water offering, they have this sparkling water that's just naturally flavored, and then they have some flavored water offerings as well. So let me know if you'd like me to review them. They have some kind of interesting takes on traditional flavors, as well as an elderflower water flavor, which I would be interested in checking out. So let me know if you'd like me to check those out in a future review. However, they also talk about the water itself. It's always nice to see these water companies take pride in the water that they're offering to you, and Icelandic is very proud of their water. It comes from the Ölfus spring, which is one of the largest natural springs in the world, which is very cool. It's in kind of a volcanic area that's in an exclusion zone, which means no human activity except, I guess, somehow Icelandic Glacial got to suck up some water from there, which is nice because we get to enjoy how pure it is and how naturally alkaline it is. So it's cool. On their About Our Water page, they talk about how the water is naturally alkaline. It has a high pH of 8.4, which is quite high for even an alkaline water, which is very cool, and it's naturally alkaline from that volcanic rock and the minerals inside it, as well as the fact that it has a very low TDS, just 62, which makes it one of the purest waters I've reviewed on this channel. And finally, they have a little CSR initiative where they talk about how their Icelandic water is one of the first water companies to be certified carbon neutral, and this is for both their product as well as their operations. And it's kind of cool, their operations are entirely powered by geothermal and hydroelectric power, which is very cool to see this company doing that to provide a more environmentally friendly water. Now, finally, they have a little company page where they talk about Iceland and how naturally beautiful it is. They talk about their spring again and how it was created and where it is, and again, the exclusion zone and how pure it is. And then they talk about the fact that the water is piped in and immediately put into the bottles, so it never comes in contact with any human, or they never add or take anything away from the water. You're getting straight from the spring. Although I feel with this carbonated water offering, they must have some sort of carbonation agent going into it, because I don't think the spring is naturally carbonated. Anyways, that's all for company history and interestingness. Again, Icelandic Glacial has an excellent company website with tons of information. Excellent work in that regard. Now, in terms of bottle design and materials, on their website, they mentioned that their bottle won a Best Bottle Design and Label Design award, but that was for their still water offering, and I do have some complaints about their choice of bottle design and label design for this glacial sparkling water. Firstly, while I do like the fact that it is round, so it'll easily fit into a cup holder now, the other one was square, so it didn't really fit into any cup holders. It's not as unique or beautifully kind of interestingly designed as the square bottle. It looks more like a generic bottle. However, they do have nice plastic still throughout, and the cap is also very sturdy and made out of a nice plastic, as well as they did keep this cool kind of Icelandic glacial tip look to the top with kind of these jagged edges, but it just doesn't really stick out as much on this bottle as it did on the square bottle for their still water offering. but it's still kind of interesting and unique to see. Again, another thing that makes this bottle somewhat generic is the fact that they have this kind of dimpled base to the bottom of it. I did like how kind of upscale and interestingly designed the flat base on the square bottle looked, and it would have been nice if they had continued it over to this one. Life Water and Smart Water both have the flat base, so I think that Icelandic probably could have done it with their regular rounded bottle that they have for this sparkling offering. In terms of label design, it's still quite nice, and it is nicely secured to the bottle, being fully glued all the way around, but it just doesn't have that nice kind of interesting, again, unique look that the Stillwater offering had, where it had that frosted look with the Iceland picture being the window to look into the water. But they did keep this nice, interesting kind of Nordic looking writing, and it still is a very clean design with the picture of Iceland. And they do denote that it is the sparkling water offering, just with this simple red sparkling label here. I really would prefer if people did this instead of completely changing the bottle design for their sparkling water offerings. I don't think it's really necessary, and if you have a really nice bottle design, you might as well just throw this on and keep the same beautiful design. Now, on the back of the label, they have the fact that it's a carbon neutral product printed right on the top there, and they have a little nutrition facts list, but they don't for some reason have a mineral table, which I guess because it is a low TDS water, they might not have seen a reason to add that, but it would have been kind of nice to see, even though it is a low TDS water, just to see what few trace minerals are in there, and maybe to tell us what carbonating agent they're using as well. But enough with bottle design and materials. How does Icelandic's sparkling water offering taste? Now, they mentioned that it is a lightly carbonated water, so we'll have to see how it stacks up in terms of carbonation strength and whatnot. But on the nose, you mostly just get the carbonation agent smell. It smells like kind of a baking soda smell to it, a little bit of a bitterness, kind of a chalkiness to it as well. And really not a whole lot else, since it is a low TDS water, so you're not really getting any kind of interesting notes other than that carbonating agent. And now, in terms of taste, yeah, it has a really, really nice taste. It has the crisp mouthfeel because it's such a low TDS water. It also has it actually has a good amount of carbonation. It's not too lightly carbonated. They did add just enough to give it kind of a nice bubbly, fizzy feeling. And in terms of taste, because it's a low TDS water, it isn't the most complex or interesting taste to it, but it does have a nice kind of zesty lemony flavor to it. It's more of a sour lemon flavor than a sweeter orange, and you do get a slight bitterness as well. So overall, it's not the most interesting flavor or nose, but you do get that nice carbonated zesty lemon taste, which I do like. And luckily, unlike the sparkling Nestle Pure Life that I reviewed last week, the baking soda flavors don't come off too much into the flavor. You do get a slight kind of carbonating agent taste to it, but it's really not as strong as the Nestle Pure Life. It's very manageable. And now, time for final score. For company history and interestingness, Icelandic Glacial does excellently here. There's nothing to complain about in terms of their company website or the information that they provide on it. Really beautifully designed website, easy to navigate, and they have all the pages and information I'm usually looking for. It would have been nice maybe, since they don't have the mineral table on the actual bottle, to have it in somewhere on their website so you could at least see it. But other than that, they have everything I'm looking for, so full points, 2.5 out of 2.5 points for company history and interestingness. In terms of bottle design and materials, as I mentioned, it is a nice bottle, but it just doesn't stack up as well as their Stillwater offering, which again won those awards for being such a beautifully designed bottle and label. This one is quite nice, and it is nice that it's round, so it's easier to put in a cup holder or whatever, but it does not have such a unique look to it. It's very generic in some places, like down here with the generic base to it, and just it doesn't have that cool kind of frosted look to it, a kind of frosted glacial look to it. So really overall, it is a nice design with good materials. I would have liked to see, again, a mineral table on here, but they do have a nutrition facts table, which isn't really useful in this case. And they do mention that it does have a high pH and whatnot on the back. So in terms of bottle design and materials, I am just giving them 1.75 out of 2.5 points. It is a very nicely designed bottle, but just not as good as their still water bottle. And in terms of taste and nose, again, because it's a low TDS water, they're going more for that pure, crisp, nice, neutral taste. But because it is a carbonated water and they do have that carbonating agent, that adds some interesting flavors to the water. So on the nose, it's very neutral, except for you do smell that kind of baking soda smell. And on the taste, you get a little bit of that lemon zesty bitterness and not too much of that baking soda taste. So in terms of taste and nose, they get 3 out of 4 points. And finally, in terms of value, this half-liter bottle cost $1.49 at the grocery store, which is quite expensive. I do realize it's kind of a niche and upscale product, so it does kind of garner a higher price because of that. And they do have the fact that it is a carbon neutral product. So if you are interested in getting a very unique water with a nice strong company behind it that cares about their environment and their water, then maybe you will jump for this higher priced water. But if you're just looking for a nice tasting carbonated water, I'd probably go with a sparkling water like Perrier or San Pellegrino. That's, again, a more reasonable price, $1.33 to $1.50 for one of those 1-liter bottles. And it still does have a nice bottle and whatnot. So you really aren't missing out in that regard. You'd really just be spending more for this if you care about the company and the water source. So in terms of value, they get half a point out of 1 point. Tallying it all up, Icelandic Glacial's sparkling water offering their natural flavor gets 7.75 out of 10 points, a really strong, solid score for their sparkling water. I'd be interested to see how they've decided to flavor their flavored sparkling waters, so I think I will be reviewing those in a future review, so stay tuned. But overall, fairly strong water. I think it is a little expensive, but you pay for what you get. So thank you all for watching my review of Icelandic Glacial sparkling water, and please like and subscribe. Comment down below which waters you'd like me to review next, or which foods you'd like me to review on my Monday food reviews. And I will actually see you on Monday for my next food review. Thank you.